At Carnival, we believe fun is a choice. But it isn't always an easy one, because you've got stuff to do. Work stuff, life stuff, stressy stuff. Fortunately, we created an escape from all that stuff. It started a bit over 50 years ago when a man set out with a second-hand ship and a belief. Cruising should be accessible to everyone. And fun. Most definitely fun. A belief passed down from father to son, from ship to ship. And in the process, my oh my, how those ships have continued to be amazing fun machines. Our secret sauce? Combining the pure awesomeness of our ships with team members from all over the globe who know how to make the 1 gazillion experiences you can have on a Carnival ship unforgettable. Yep, get ready to make your other memories jealous, because fun is in our DNA. Tirelessly tested cruise in and cruise out, day and night, every season of the year. You know, fun isn't a nice to have. It's a necessity. It makes you a better person, a better parent, a better friend. It helps you live your best life. So go carpe that diem. Sure, you might look a little silly doing it, but holy sea cow, doesn't it feel so freeing? This is how life was meant to be lived. And look, we know that fun's relative. His fun is different than her fun, is different from theirs, is different from yours. Maybe your fun is flying down a giant water slide, or racing through the sky, or simply taking a moment to let out a deep, ah. Nice, right? We can all do our own thing, or we can splash around together. But here's the thing, fun doesn't just happen. You have to want it. You've got to opt in. You've got to grab fun when it floats your way. And after 50 years and over 100 million guests, we still believe this one thing. Fun is a choice. We're here to help make it an easy one. So let's do this. Carnival. Choose fun.
Live from the cruise capital of the world, your hosts, Greg and Michele.
Well, everybody, we finally made it. And thank you for the applause. Okay, you could stop that. Okay. Well, here we are. This is our first live show. Thank you for coming. We got 11 people in the audience, I see.
Yeah. Welcome.
But this is our pre-cruise show, and we're all excited because it's coming up right around the corner. And without any hesitation, I want to bring on our special guest right away. And we are very grateful to have you come on. And it's Coach Cruz coming to the stage.
Hey
there he is.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It's going great.
Appreciate you, and I'm honored to be your first guest. So thank you.
Oh, well, we couldn't think of anybody else. I mean, quite frankly, I mean, you're the man that knows the celebration.
Yeah, for sure.
The content that you have and everything else, it's phenomenal what you post, and also your connections. Because I hear that you know somebody very special on board the celebration.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lee, honestly, though, I think Lee Mason, the cruise director, I think honestly he has so many friends that once you meet him, you feel like you're a close friend or whatever. He's really an exceptional human being. He just is so generous and caring and warm. He really
warm.
makes
that was the word I was thinking. Yes,
yeah.
Warm. Yeah. And engaging. I mean, seriously, like you walk by him, you say hi, he's like going to stop and just, connect with you. He's all about
as busy as that man is. He'll take the time and stop and really give you his, personal time.
Yeah.
Which
that's
very valuable.
I've talked about that a lot when talking about cruise directors and 3 cruise directors. And I know there's more than this. I haven't gotten an opportunity, unfortunately, to cruise with all of the cruise directors, but some of the top ones I've had the, honor of and pleasure of cruising with. Lee, of course, Cookie, and Kendall Fire. And those 3.
We met Kendall and she was awesome.
Phenomenal.
We are very much looking forward to meeting Cookie. We haven't met him yet.
No.
Donkey is one of our other favorites.
Okay.
He's really great.
Funnel
Yeah.
heads, they're a big fan of Donkey as well.
Yeah.
But they're all three. The reason I mentioned, those other couple is because of that ability of theirs to make those personal connections in just a brief moment.
Mm.
They might just be walking down the hall, but they'll pass 50 people, and
yeah.
darn near every one of those 50 people are going to get at least a hello, hey, how you doing? Or I mean, and people like sometimes don't even realize it's the cruise director till after they're 2 steps past them. They're like, oh, that was Lee.
Or even somebody throwing you on their shoulder while you're getting back to the ship on the pier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That was great. That was great. Well, let's say hi to some of the other people that have joined us.
So Diana's here. We see Diana.
Hi, Diana.
Yeah, she's on there.
Looks like Caitlin is there. Hi, Caitlin.
Yeah.
And Vicky, Bartholomew.
Carnival Cruise Addicts. I'm glad you made it. I know you wanted to go to bed.
Hello. Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Carnival Cruise Addicts. They're love seeing them on our shows Tuesday. They're
a
lot of fun, and they're actually going to be on our celebration cruise. So
we just found that out on your show last Tuesday that they were going to be on the same cruise as us. So we've been chatting back and forth, and
that's the great part about coming on shows like this and being part of cruise groups and cruise pages and everything is you find out unexpectedly, like, oh, I'm on that cruise too. And then, like, oh, let's get to there at the Alchemy Bar or something like that, meet up or whatever. And you already have a connection with somebody, before you've even gone on the cruise. So,
build your community. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And schedule the fun even before you get on board.
It's all about the fun.
So
you have a cruise coming up in 2 weeks on the celebration, which is why another reason I thought it would be great to have you on, so that this way.
And you're on right after, right?
We're actually on 2 weeks after yours, so we're on December 3rd. Yeah, I thought you were going to get off and we were going to get on, but it's not the case. It's actually a 2-week gap.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
So I think if you guys that are have logged on, in the description, Greg has put on some amazing
PDF handouts, pre-cruise checklists, and I've actually gone to the extent of making the ultimate bar crawl guide.
This guy, oh my gosh, is like the most organized person ever. So, and lists galore, which I love. I love lists. And so these, you've got to, if you're like a cruise fanatic like us, check these out because they are phenomenal checklists for what to bring on board, what to do prior to going, which foods to check out. In fact, one of them is if you're going to try and do all of them. Well, we'll get to that.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But we're kind of rushing into it a little bit.
Well, I just wanted you guys to know that there's lots of content here. Lots of content. Yeah.
Especially for the first time cruisers. And I know there's going to be quite a few. One thing we wanted to ask you, because we did a poll on our group page that how many people are flying, how many people are driving. It seems like there's more people flying to the port. We're lucky. We're only an hour away from Miami, so we just jump in the car and we're there. Never flown to a port. What's that?
I said I'm jealous of you on that.
Well, I think that's why a lot of the YouTubers have moved to Florida. How many? Like a couple of them already have moved.
Yeah.
Cruise World, and there was another one I thought.
I don't know.
Anyway, well, so
I was going to ask. So, do you have any tips for the people who are flying? I mean, we've never flown to another port, so I mean, I don't know if there's anything as far as.
Well, I mean, as far as flying, I mean, I'm sure this is one of your tips, but if you're going to fly, you definitely want to fly in the day before.
Never the day of.
You don't want to risk. And there was a time, it was just last year on my April cruise on the Horizon, where we booked a flight the day before, and normally I'd like to fly out in the morning, but I needed to work that particular day. So, I booked a flight at like 4 or 5 o'clock. Sure enough, a storm comes rolling in, and it was, like 4 or 5 o'clock. We were actually able to get on the flight, but the weather looked bad all the way down to Florida. And so thankfully, I booked a flight because they had already rerouted, my flight, and it wasn't going to get us there until like 8 o'clock the next day, 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, yeah, my cruise leaves at 3 or 4 o'clock. That's not going to get it done. So thankfully, I was wise enough to purchase another airline ticket for a flight that was going out. It just happened to be the last seat, and I was able to get there on time. But so even with booking and planning on being there the night ahead of time, I was in a situation where I wasn't going to make it.
Wow.
If I didn't, book this other flight. So yeah, it's definitely something. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what the weather is going to be like, the morning, even if you book early in the morning. So, I mean, that'd be my number one thing, is to make sure that you book your flight at least, the night in advance, preferably in the morning, and enjoy one day. And Miami, obviously, you can go to Miami, and that's an extra day of vacation. You can spend a day in Miami, of course, and go to the beach.
Well, that's a great point. Yeah.
Well, there was, when we went on the Mardi Gras, we actually decided to go up the day early.
Right.
And get a hotel close to the port and just kind of spend the afternoon, just so we wouldn't have that.
Beach.
Because we did one cruise where we left our house plenty of time, right? But there was a traffic jam. There was an accident, and
we live in a community where there's only one road in and one road out, and it was like an hour delay. It was a nightmare, and we were like, oh, OMG. If you're driving to the port, always Google the directions to see if there's any delays.
Yeah, that's one of the tips on what to do the day of. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
we learned our lesson. And then even when you have everything planned,
you think you got it down.
Right. And then things happen. They do.
Yeah. Well, to go along with the tips, and it's just like if you were going to port on any of your cruises, you want to research the ports ahead of time, because you don't want to get to port and be like, well, what are we going to do? And not have any idea. So, one idea I would say is, research your port of embarkation. So, in this case, Miami, but one of the ports I remember that I'm fond of also is New Orleans. I love, the Louisiana, food and things like that. So, but research different restaurants and things like that, where you're like, okay, well, our hotel is here. There's this restaurant that's got really great reviews. This is the menu. This menu looks awesome. We got to check this place out. So whether it's food or it's some type of entertainment that you want to do, the night before your cruise, basically have everything worked out. And you said you like planning and you like lists. And Carnival Cruise Addicts. Where's
I saw that.
Zoe's not in here right now, probably because I don't have any treats to bribe her with. But I can probably get her in here at some point. But that would be the other tip is just maximize each and every day of your vacation. So if that's I'm going down to Miami the day before this Thanksgiving cruise, and I'm meeting up with a couple that I met on an Alaskan cruise just this past summer that live in the Miami area. And we're going to meet up and, party a little bit together, I think.
That's terrific.
Yeah, it's that's going to be a lot of fun, but just to have some kind of a plan, so you don't get there and be like, oh, I wish we'd have done this, or I wish we'd have done that. That's
so actually probably planning to arrive maybe 2 days prior might even be a better thing, so that you do have that extended time. And especially a place like Miami where there's so much going on.
Right. So many options of things to do.
If you have that flexibility to take the extra time off. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And extra money for a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be like right downtown Miami, or you can if you've got the money and the time and want that kind of experience. But there's lots of affordable places.
Right.
That you can, and then take an Uber in or whatever.
And the funny thing is, not funny, but living in Florida, actually flying into Fort Lauderdale and maybe staying in Fort Lauderdale and then Ubering to the port in Miami, you're only talking about a 20-minute drive from Fort Lauderdale to the port. So,
Right.
you know, everybody always flocks to Miami when Fort Lauderdale is,
it's a
you
good
may
option,
get better
a very
rates,
good option.
you know, as
Mhm.
far as hotels and everything.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you guys, since you live in Florida? How often do you get out of the state and cruise out of some other port, or have you done that? I mean, there's not a lot of reason to, I guess. But
We're in the cruise capital.
Well, you know, we haven't yet, but it is on our list to do an Alaskan cruise.
Yeah.
And we are planning a special trip to the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
To do that in a couple of years.
Yeah, 26.
But I do, you know, and I told Greg this. I was like, you know what? They should do like a golf, like a cruise out of Tampa, and then go to all the ports just in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be fun.
Or
I
U.S.
mean,
ports, or just to, you know.
A short little like cruise just to all this, because I mean, New Orleans is there. Like, I don't know what else is it Pensacola? I mean, there's like a little like towns on the things that they could just stop at. I mean, there's Key West too. I mean, I think that would be fun.
yeah,
You know, because as a Floridian, I mean, we have so much. I mean, so much here as far as like beaches and things like that we can do. But so we don't necessarily get to get out to some of those other fun places.
Yeah.
You know, I have been to New Orleans with past jobs, so I'm lucky that way. I've been to a lot of places. But I would love to do like, there's so many great ports like out of California too.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we go, oh, well, that's the extra expense, but we're so
Or the extra time off.
Extra time off too. But we're going to have to do that just to experience some of those other really amazing places.
Yeah.
right. And you know, that brings me into a question. Since you live in not only the cruise capital, but a beach capital, do you find yourself not going to the beach on Caribbean cruises more so because you are available to the beach all the time? Do you do different stuff?
Yeah.
Or do you stick to the beach?
Yeah. It's so funny. So my sisters are coming with us on this cruise in December, and they're like, we just want to go walk on the beach and pick up seashells. And I'm like, really? I was like, well, we can do that, but you know, you can come and visit me and we can do that, you know, here too. But there are no, I mean, the beaches in the Caribbean are like the most beautiful beaches in the world. So we have some pretty beaches, but I mean, you know, the ones that we cruise to are just incredible. I mean, pink sand. I mean, just turquoise blue water.
We got the Keys. I mean, the Florida Keys.
Yeah. I mean, we are.
What's a couple of your favorite ports on Carnival for your beaches?
Well, Megan's Bay was really pretty.
Megan's Bay. Yeah.
That was
beautiful. And St. Thomas. And that's one of that's the port we're going on Thanksgiving.
Well, you know, the thing is, so you're going to go to the same stops we're going to go to, I believe. So
okay.
It's San Juan, St. Thomas,
and Amber Cove.
Amber Cove, yeah.
Now, Amber Cove doesn't have the pretty beaches, in my opinion.
No.
I mean, they're not ugly beaches by any means, but I mean, they're not those crystal clear blue water. They're not.
They've got that awesome swimming pool when you first get off the ship.
Right.
That's free.
I want to do a shout out to my friend Chase, who's like, I want to do a Hawaiian cruise, and I want to do a Hawaiian cruise too.
We're in for Hawaiian.
Yes. So, okay, talk about blue waters. So the Caribbean has the turquoise, but I mean, if you've been to Hawaii, you know, it's like sapphire blue. I mean, when they say blue Hawaii, it's just like a blue water, like you just,
wow.
Yeah, it's just absolutely stunning.
Been there.
And with all the different islands and just a different feel. I remember the very first time I went to Hawaii, I got off the plane and I saw more palm trees. And of course, I was living in Florida at the time. I was like, wow, this is a long trip for more palm trees. And then I realized that the vibe and the whole culture and everything is so different. It is so worth the trip.
Wow.
I mean, almost halfway around the world. And it really is a different place and a magical place. And one of my favorite places, and we're definitely going to have to do.
We're going to do a Hawaiian cruise for sure.
What about the turtles? The turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been to Hawaii?
Yeah, several times.
Yeah.
We actually own a timeshare out there, so we've.
Oh, you do?
So
What
Oh.
island?
Maui.
Maui. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But a funny story about Hawaii, real quick, because we see the turtles in the Caribbean, and they're like this big, and they're cute, and it's like, oh, look, there's a turtle over there, and everybody goes over there. The turtles in Hawaii, you can put a saddle on, okay,
They're huge.
and you can ride
Really?
these things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm used to, with my wife Anita, and I'm used to seeing, these little turtles, and they're so cute, in the Caribbean and stuff. And so, we're at this beach, and these turtles, they come
Wow.
right off the beach. We were told, and so we're swimming just off the beach, and they say, yeah, go over to the side over here, and good chance you'll see some turtles. So I see my wife in the water, and she's like, oh, there's a turtle just over there. And of course I'm like, oh, cool, okay, so I start swimming over there. She didn't tell me the thing was as big as a Volkswagen. So the water was a little bit sandy because it was a little bit rougher water or whatever. So I'm swimming through this water, and all of a sudden this giant head as big as mine, and I have a massive head.
Wow.
I just see it from about this far away.
Wow.
And it's like, whoa, this giant head comes in. And I'm just thinking this thing's going to open its mouth and just crush my skull, right?
What was that? Godzilla?
There
was a turtle in Godzilla, one of those monster movies. There was a giant turtle.
God.
Yeah.
It was like a turtle the size of the turtles you see on National Geographic.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
Galapagos Islands, or I'm not pronouncing that right, But it was just amazing, just the size of the turtles. And they will fine you. You're supposed to stay 50 feet away from these turtles. And like if they crawl up on the beach, which they often do, you have to stay 50 feet away from them, this and that. So it's really cool. But yeah, the turtles there are just gigantic, and it's a really cool experience for sure.
Wow. That's nice.
So it looks like Caitlin says she wants to do an Alaskan cruise.
Well, let's hear about it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Let's see.
Caitlin? Hey,
Hi,
Caitlin.
There was no warning. No
warning. I saw you sleeping.
It's late. I know it's only 9:30, but it's late.
It feels like midnight, right?
So, Coach, this is our daughter Caitlin. She's also an avid cruiser. She's loving it. She hasn't been on a cruise in a while, and so she's really looking forward to the one in December. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I was supposed to go on Mardi Gras last year, and because of COVID, we had to cancel.
Right.
And we went on the Elation. So a big, little bit of a downgrade there.
Big letdown.
But
I didn't want to say anything. Some people prefer the smaller ships, so
any cruise is better than no cruise.
Right. Any cruise is better than no cruise.
So this is something that we found out recently. We love 7-day cruises, 7, 8 days, 6 days maybe. We never did anything smaller than that, but we did go on a Carnival Sunrise, which was a 4 or 5 day cruise over the weekend. We had a blast. It was just a fantastic time.
Yeah,
we didn't think we were going to like it. We got an interior cabin, and we just did a extended weekend, and it turned out to be a real treat for us.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So, like you said, any cruise is better than no cruise. Better than staying home, right?
Oh yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah. So, so what about an Alaskan cruise draws you? What about that?
It's Alaska. We haven't done it before, and it's different than the beaches. Like Coach Cruz was saying, we live in Florida, we see the beach all the time, but we don't see glaciers all the time.
Right. Yeah.
So Caitlin has a little story to tell about passports.
On our checklist, check your passports, check your documents prior to getting in the car and leaving. So
well, that we did. We did do that. All right.
We need to know where it is.
Little backstory. I got married, and we were leaving the hotel and getting ready, and I had put the passports in the suitcase, and I was like, this is going to be the carry-on bag. This is where they're going to go. we go to leave the hotel the next day, and they're not in the suitcase. We looked through all of the suitcases, all of our luggage, the hotel room, the car, everything. They were not to be found. The cruise was leaving from Tampa. We were in Vero, and we live in Palm Beach. So we were like, well, we should have enough time to drive back to Palm Beach, get the passports, and make it to Tampa, hopefully. Somewhere in that, we called Carnival and told them that we were going to be late, and they said, you better turn around. We are not waiting for you. Oh. So we turned around and did about 90 the whole way from probably Port St. Lucie to Tampa. Stopped for gas, which was good because we would have ran out by the time we got to the port. Would have ditched the car in some parking lot somewhere. But we made it to the port with about 10 minutes to spare before they were about to close the gates. We had paid for valet parking just to kind of speed up the process a little bit, but the valet park people were not there. So my husband had to go park the car, and there was a very nice security man who helped calm us down and get the luggage to where we needed to go. While we were driving to the port, we had my sister-in-law and my best friend go to our houses and take pictures of our birth certificates. So this is a huge thing. Right now, anybody who's watching, take a picture of your birth certificate, front and back, email them to yourself, take a picture of your IDs, front and back, email them to yourself. Passport, same thing. So if something does happen, they can accept a picture of your documents. We got on the ship, we rushed to our rooms, dropped off our bag, and did our muster drill. And as we were unpacking, lo and behold, the passports were right where I put them. Oh. So all that anxiety for nothing. But we learned a lot of lessons in that leave early, because we didn't leave early enough. My dad even called me. He was like, you haven't left yet? I'm like, no, we got plenty of time. No, no, we did not. So leave early, make sure you have your documents, check the traffic, just make sure you have enough time, and, figure out your parking before you get to the port too. So that's important.
Fill your gas tank.
Yeah, fill your gas tank. Yeah. I know a lot of people like to do off-site parking. Some cases that's a good idea. Some cases it may not be. We're going to do on-site parking in Miami when we go on this cruise, just because I think it'll be a little easier than finding off-site and taking the shuttle and everything. So,
and always pack your jump box.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. That's your story, not my story.
Yeah.
It all comes from experience.
Yeah. So all these tips, yeah, for sure. So.
Okay, Caitlin. Well, thanks for joining in.
Thanks.
Right, well, thank you for having me.
I know you've got a little one. Anything else you want to give as far as a tip or anything?
No, I mean, I think that story covered a lot of topics there.
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is take the pictures of your important documents.
Huge. Yeah. That's huge. And that Carnival will accept them. Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to have, but as a backup, just be prepared. Just go ahead and take a picture of them.
Yep.
Email them to yourself as well. Have them in your phone, just so that, they're there if you need them.
Or even send them to a family member as well who may not be going on a cruise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. Thanks, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So, Coach, how about you? You have any quote unquote war stories about things that happen besides the besides almost missing your flight and missing the cruise?
Well, I mean, the one story that comes to mind, I forgot something in the house. I'm like, oh, I got to go back and grab this. It wasn't my passport. I forget what it was, but I ran back into the office to grab something, and we were in the process of getting in the car to drive to the airport, and would have gotten there. And well, in the office was my passport sitting right on on the desk.
Oh.
So, like, everything was in the car. It was just a matter of, oh, I got to go grab this or something like that, which wasn't the passport, which wasn't the important thing. For some reason, the passport was just sitting right there. And I'm just like, oh my God, this would have ruined the whole trip right here if I wouldn't have just by accident seen my passport sitting here. So yeah, that's definitely something, you know, another tip is you want to have all your critical paperwork and everything all in one place, all packed, ready to go, and not be looking for it or whatever, you know.
Yeah, we always prepare a folder. I don't know if do we have one there?
Yeah, I think so.
We prepare a folder which has no, that's the ultimate bar crawl.
Okay. Here, I think this is it.
Yeah, so
by we mean he means he.
Well, this isn't quite it, but we always take these kind of folders with us that has a pocket inside that'll have our boarding passes on one side. I'll have the passport on the other. So everything that we have is in the folder, and then we always keep it in a carry-on in a very specific place so that everything is right where we need it, and then that's our easy to go. And especially when you're going through the checkpoints and everything, let me see your passport, let me see this. It's easy to pull in and out very quickly.
Yeah. So and that's the other thing too. Like I don't know. One cruise I went on with my sister Lisa, I think we valeted the car, and then the valet ticket. So that was the other thing of like, where do we put the valet ticket? So when we got off the cruise, we couldn't find the valet ticket, and we thought we searched through everything, and it took them a long time to find our keys, and we finally did. But that's just, I mean, just trying to be very very cautious of like important paperwork, right? So not just the boarding documents, but also like if you're valeting your car. Get your ticket.
Well, and so much is going through your mind that the simplest things you can forget very easily.
Right. So just slow down, you know, check things, just be aware of like what's important. Don't rush. And that's the other thing. On our last cruise, we were walking back, to get off the cruise, we went to our car, and then we saw somebody's driver's license.
Oh yeah.
In the parking garage. So
we didn't know if they were going on the cruise
or coming off or or what. So this person, I don't know, like maybe put it in the pocket and it came out. But just like secure important stuff. Like just don't put them in your pocket. Like put them in a we
were able to get it to the right person. So we found
eventually,
out who it was.
We did. We mailed it to them. But and luckily they had their cruise wasn't she had her was her driver's permit. She was a young, just newly driver, so she actually had her driver's permit with her instead of her, and used that instead of her driver's license. But I mean that could have been really bad because it wasn't just lost. So another thing about also take a picture, right?
So how about the celebration? Let's talk a little bit about the ship. How many times have you been on it?
Well, this will be my third time coming up. I did it twice in June. And yeah, I mean, because the Mardi Gras and the Celebration are sister ships, it almost seems like I've been on longer than two. And then you mentioned my, being friends with Lee and stuff. So Lee and I have talked so much over the past year, via messaging primarily. And I've done a couple interviews with him and things like that, I feel like it's been longer, but it really hasn't. But I mean,
cousin too.
What's that?
He's your cousin also.
Oh yeah, exactly. But the thing about the celebration is this, and I know most people that are going to go on the celebration are going to go on for 1 week. And we talked about planning and things like that. The celebration is definitely a ship to plan for because it is massive. And no matter how good your intentions are to do anything and everything on the ship, there's no way. You just can't do it all in a week. No. You need at least 2 weeks.
It's definitely a 2-week cruise.
To experience anything and everything that there is to experience on the celebration, you need a couple weeks. I mean, that's restaurants. I did another video on the celebration where there's over 20 different places to eat on the
Oh, yeah.
celebration. So
Let's
just
see.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a huge list of all the
This is
checklist.
if you want to do, I call it the food challenge. It's a checklist of every single place that you could actually eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on board the Celebration. And if you want to do the challenge and you can do it, I doubt it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's just the thing. I mean, if you did eat at 3 different places a day, you know, it would take you the whole week just to knock every one of those places out. And that's if you're doing 3 a day. And obviously you're going to come across some favorites and you're like, oh, well, you got to eat here again. This was so good, you know, and so you're going to skip some places just because you want to go back to places, you know, a second or a third time, like Shaq's Chicken. You know, I challenge somebody to go there and then only go there once the entire time. I mean, I love Shaq's Chicken, you know, so chances are you're going to go there more than once. But, you know, there's some other places that you're not going to go to at all. And you're going to be like, hey, you know, next time we go on the Celebration, we should go do this or we should go do that because we didn't do it on this cruise. So, that would be the thing for sure.
And, you know, what's interesting also is that a lot of people, if you speak to people on board, you could ask them, what was your favorite place to go to? And you might have a different opinion and be like, well, no, because my favorite place is this place. So it's kind of interesting how each group of people would have a different place.
Shebang is the place that is the most controversial, I swear. There's some people that love Shebang, and then there's other people that are like, what's that?
I love it.
Oh, okay.
But I like the Asian dishes. They're amazing. I mean, I've had some, and that's what I was going to say. So maybe it was what they got, like, and
that could be.
You know, it's just like, well, and that's the case in point because we went to Rudy's Sea Grill one time and we did not have a good experience.
It wasn't good.
But everybody raves about it, you know. So I think sometimes it's just.
What was that?
I said I don't. I do rave about some things. So a couple appetizers.
Yes.
On Rudy's Sea Grill.
Yeah,
there was some what is it? It's these scallops in like this cheesy sauce or whatever. It had some crazy different name, but it was so good. The lobster mac and cheese was really good, I thought, and the key lime pie I was really enjoyed. But those 3 things stuck out. But the main entrees themselves,
I think I had the sea bass or something like that, and it almost tasted like it was frozen. It was defrosted. It was frozen again, and then they cooked it. It wasn't. No, they took it off. You know, they were good about it. And this was on. I think it was the Mardi Gras. You know, so they were still trying to get things put together.
Yeah, I think we went on very early on.
In
the Mardi Gras.
The seafood bisque I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you tried that. But I like the lobster. Now, the steakhouse I've always been a big fan of. I don't know if you all like the steakhouse.
Oh yeah, we like the steakhouse.
The cowboy.
Yeah, me the spice ribeye or the cowboy. Those are my top 2. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
No, but the food, I mean, you did the top 10, which is like spot on. I mean, really, I mean, everything that you put down on that, we enjoy that.
Yeah,
really. I mean, you've got so much good content for the Celebration. It's just
well, thank you.
You know,
I mean, it's easy to do because there's so many good things.
Yeah,
so much to talk about.
It's easy to do, but it's not easy to put together.
Right.
Yeah. But no, I'm really. So this will be your first time on the Celebration?
No,
second.
This is our second time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we met last year.
What did you enjoy the most your first time, and then what did you regret not doing on the Celebration?
Well, what we enjoyed the most, I think, had to have been the dance party.
Oh, the Evolution.
Oh, Evolution.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a ton of fun.
Oh.
So this was our first Christmas cruise last year,
well,
and so
on that ship. Because we were on the Mardi Gras Christmas.
Oh, that's right. We were, weren't we? So, well, I mean, but they didn't have the ugly sweater then? Or
no, they did. They did.
Oh, but we just didn't participate. So maybe that's what it was. So I got out of my shell and I participated in the ugly sweater contest and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I guess just really just really making sure we got out there and we participated in what was happening, right? Like all the evening events, making sure we caught the shows. I don't know, just the trivia.
There's nothing that we regretted.
No, I can't.
Nothing.
No, I think, and what's really fun for us is really getting to know the crew.
Oh.
The fun squad, especially.
And that would be like a good tip for people who are watching that, go to the fun squad, talk to them, talk to the cruise director. They will speak to you and give you their time. And it makes your experience that much better.
Yeah.
It brings it to another level.
Yeah. And then especially if then you go on subsequent cruises, and we met one of the people on the fun squad, Trevor. He was just a standout kind of person and just so much fun.
And he remembered us.
Yeah. So we saw him on the next cruise. It was a different ship totally. And he remembered us. And it was just, it was great talking to him again and connecting and, and just kind of, just seeing what their goals are and stuff. I think your interview with the with what was her name?
Mamacita, right?
No,
Marcella, yeah.
Yeah, it started with an M, right?
Yeah, Marcella, yeah.
Marcella, right? Marcella, asked her if she wanted to be wanted to be a cruise director, but she's like, no, she wanted to be in hotel management. Just getting to know them, I think is, I don't know.
She answered that very well.
Yeah. Getting to know them, and plus fellow cruisers too, of course, and meeting people and, developing friendships like you did, and then meeting up with them in Miami, like you were going to be doing.
I love that you mentioned that, because I know we have the Carnival Cruise addicts watching, because I feel like you have to be a cruise addict to catch that part that you did, because that was in the middle of the video, and not everybody watches all the way through the end.
Yes.
So you caught a great glimpse, and there's some things that us cruise addicts, we'll watch other cruise creators' content and stuff, and we'll just love some stuff that we see on there. One of my favorite parts from that Celebration cruise vlogs that I did included Marcella, Mamacita. And I don't know if you saw this particular episode, but
was that the competition?
No, it was Lee. Lee had somebody from the jewelry store they were interviewing on the morning wave or whatever.
Yes, we saw that.
Yes. And when she ran to get the ring,
the yellow diamond. Yes, that was 20,000. 120. What was that? 120.
We thought you were the one chasing her, but
no. Yeah, the young man that I recruited, I said, hey, go follow her, and so he followed her, and she's running through the ship or whatever. I'm like, this is awesome, I love that little bit where we and then you see her coming back in the screen, and you see the ring and everything.
That's terrific.
That was a lot of fun, but yeah, it's a little bit, and you all, the more you advance here in the cruise creating, whatever, you'll find out there's a lot of logistics that go into interviewing and talking to some of the crew and things like that. So I had to make sure that was okay to actually even air that little part that I had with Marcella, Mamacita, and asking her, and I got approval for that and everything. That worked out great. But yeah, that it is so true about what you're saying about talking to the crew and meeting the crew, and that makes the cruise experience so much better. That's one of the reasons I love about going to the Alchemy bar and some of the other bars I go to and stuff, or the bartenders are just so cool, so much fun to hang out with. I remember on the Celebration, there was one young bartender, a couple young bartenders, Maria at the Alchemy bar, and then Tamara at the Latitudes bar on my most recent trip. But Tamara was so funny because she acted like she hated me every time. She's like, oh, you again, and then, it was just kind of like this running joke, like, oh, and it was, you knew she was joking, but it was a lot of fun, banter back and forth and things like that. And then Maria, she would always mess up the name, and she would always say Cruise Coach instead of Coach Cruise. She'd be like, Cruise Coach, and And I always just thought it was the funniest thing. And then she always has this way of saying, when she gets excited, she's like, yeah. It was just the cutest thing. But I mean, a lot of people love Maria there on the Carnival Celebration. I think she's probably about getting ready to go on vacation. I'm hoping. Well, not that I don't want her not to go on vacation, but I'm hoping it's like the week after,
Yeah.
Hold on one more week, Maria, and tomorrow.
I know that's like us. I mean, we go on another cruise. We're like hoping that those people that we saw on the previous cruise are going to be on it. Thank goodness Lee's going to be on it. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So when we met Lee last year, we met his fiance, and we were able to actually talk to her and hang out with her. But this was very cool. Yeah, this was
before they got engaged.
Before they got engaged, and she was basically. I don't think she was working on board. She was just there.
She was vacationing. I think at the time.
Right.
Hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was very nice.
Geraldine.
Geraldine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was interviewing Lee one time. One of the first times I interviewed, it was actually on a live, like what we're doing now, and he was on vacation, and I called Geraldine Gwendolyn or something like that, and he's like, well, she might. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So that's kind of been a running joke, It's like, well, don't tell Geraldine about Gwendolyn,
Yeah. So so getting back to the I think we started on the all the food and things like that, and so I think Carnival.
What is your disappointment on Celebration?
Do
you disappointment? Well, food, like shebang. Here's my thing with shebang. I don't want to say the food is bad, but I kind of think of it like, so if you put, say, a barbecue place with a pizza place, it's like, what are the chances of both of them being really good? They contrast each other, quite a bit. Mexican and Asian is not like yin and yang, I mean, those two don't. So I love Gigi's on the, Carnival Vista class, and great meals at Gigi's. And there's things on there. I just don't feel like if you have the same cooks preparing some of the same dishes, like I don't think they divided the kitchen up and say, okay, you guys are only going to cook Asian, you guys are only going to cook Mexican. Like, I don't know if you can 100% put your attention towards that. I'm not saying you can't make some great dishes. It's just,
that's an interesting thought. Like, if they have like some cooks cooking the Mexican entrees or whatever, and then the others cooking the Asian. Because I think my favorite is the lettuce wraps, and they're the best lettuce wraps I've ever had. They're so good.
But you know what? When we go into Celebration, we're going to go in there and we're going to ask, who's cooking what?
Who's cooking what? Yeah. But I was also going to say, have you not had barbecue chicken pizza? I mean, it's really good.
Well, honestly, I get this a lot. Like people ask me what I think about the pizza on Carnival, and I'm sure it's fine, for most people. But, and no offense, because I know you all live down in Florida, but you all don't have the same pizza we have.
Well, you're from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Listen.
Nothing beats Chicago pizza.
So I grew up in Manhattan, so I know pizza.
Well,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. It's not real pizza,
Yeah.
So it's good midnight food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else open and that's all there is, that pizza can taste pretty good. But like, if there's something else open, I'm gonna go to something else.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah.
Just
that's why
it's not like I said, for a lot of people really like Carnival pizza. I'm just not one of those people. But again, I live in Chicago, so I have some of the best pizza at hand anytime I want it.
Yeah,
it's not, again, I'm not trying to put Carnival down or anything like that. If you stretch it out over the whole U.S., it's probably very, very good. But it'd be like barbecue, for example. I mean, if I lived in Texas, I'm probably not going to be, amazed by the barbecue in Cleveland. I mean, and Cleveland might have a couple spots that have really good barbecue, but Texas, you know, is going to have some amazing barbecue, you know. And I mean, it's just one of those things, you know, regionally, you know.
Right.
And seafood, you guys are going to probably be a lot better at than most people because you're right along the coast there. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but the pizza, you know, it's funny too because a lot of people swear by the pizza on Carnival because they just don't know better food, you know.
Yeah, possibly.
Or they're really hungry.
Okay, so fun fact. So we went on the Behind the Fun.
Behind the Fun
is one of the excursions that you can do on board the ship, and then they had this little. Whoops, here we go. This little thing, and one of the things we were just looking at this is there's fun food facts, and the number of pizzas that they do consumed on the Mardi Gras in a single week. When this was
what would you think?
What do you think?
How many number of pizzas in a week?
1 week on the Mardi Gras.
Or XL class ship.
Say 22,000.
Wow, that's a lot. So 8,000.
8,000.
8,000.
Yeah.
So
I was just figuring 3 pizzas per person, you know, roughly, and there's 6,000. I don't know. Because some people will order 1 or 2 pizzas at a time. So
right. So that's what I thought. When I heard 8,000, I thought, well, that's a lot. And then we thought, okay, if there's 6,000 approximately people on board for the week, that's maybe 1 pie plus a slice, right, per person for the entire week. So obviously some people are not going to even have 1 slice.
Yeah.
And some people are going to have like maybe 1 every night if they really love it. Like, you know, like that.
For those of you who are watching, you can now, through the Carnival Hub app, you can order your pizza to wherever you are on the ship.
Wow.
Yeah, they brought that back. Did you know that?
But it's like a $5 charge or something, right?
Yeah, delivery charge, $5. Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, that's nice though. I mean, that you don't have to pay. I mean, you don't have to wait in line because those lines are crazy long.
They go fast though.
They can.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Mm-hmm.
They do go fast.
But what we found is that if you get like something at the deli, like, you know, during the day or whatever, and then you just pop it in your refrigerator, and then if you need a midnight snack or something like that, then you've got this amazing sandwich just right there.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know this is going to be frowned upon, but with the exception of Cozumel, that's about the only place I've found where they've actually stuffed bags and things like that with the dogs. Most of these ports you can take sandwiches off. That's an inside tip that, you know, Carnival, because they do make those announcements in a lot of these ports, like you're not supposed to bring food off this.
Bring food, right?
But you know, I mean, I doubt a spicy chicken sandwich is going to screw up the ecosystem or whatever, you know,
or their economy, right? Yeah. I think that's part of it too. They want you to spend money when you're at their port.
Right. So, I mean, but if you're going to the beach, you're not going to be near some restaurants. If you're going to some secluded beach or whatever, you probably can wrap up a couple sandwiches and some chips or cookies. And then you save a little bit of money.
We've done it.
And I think that's on our packing list too. Extra Ziplocs.
Yeah.
Ziplocs for little sandwiches and snacks like that to take, you know, at least a couple of cookies or something like that. Something easy to transport in your bag when you're going.
Now, do you all do the Cheers package by chance?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So here's a tip that I'll share that I'm going to be. I did a video on Cheers, and it has been one of my most successful videos. I've gotten almost 500 new subscribers as a result of this Cheers video. So I'm going to do an updated version of that particular Cheers video. But one of the suggestions I talk about is a lot of people that maybe aren't as big a drinkers, they try to justify whether the Cheers package is worth it for them or not. And port days are difficult because, as we know, you know, a lot of times you'll get off in the morning and you might not get back on until 3 or 4 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
And you're tired from being out in the sun all day. You know, you get a shower, you rest up a little bit, you go to dinner, and you're like, damn, I haven't even had a drink yet. You know, I'm wasting this whole day of my Cheers package. Well, if you do happen to pack like a 30-ounce thermos or something, before you leave on your particular excursion or whatever, you could order 3 drinks. And now you might have to sit at the bar for 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But you can order 3 and pour them in that thermos.
We just started doing that.
Yeah,
our last cruise, we kind of like got
empty,
hey, wait a
empty
minute.
water bottles.
Yeah.
That the night before we would go to the bar, if we didn't hit 15, we'd be getting shots.
Go ahead and put them
well,
in there.
And that's a good point too, because if you know the bartenders or at the pizza place sometimes too, they'll sell the beers, and a lot of times they'll leave them unopened for you. So if you have that Cheers package and you say get the end of the night and like, man, I still have like 4 or 5 drinks left. It's like, oh, can I get a beer? And then you walk by another, oh, can I get a beer? And you take a couple of those beers back, put them in your little fridge, and then when you go to the beach, you order that bucket of beer, you got that ice, and then you take those cans out that you brought off the ship and you stick those in the ice. And then now it's like you got a second bucket of beer for free, because you took those beers off with you rather than letting those drinks go to waste for that particular night. So between the thermos and then, when you get to the end of the night and you're going to call it a night, grab a couple beers for the road.
Right. That's it. Just grab them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just recently started doing that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right. So, I mean, look, we've been on for an hour and I think this has been great. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
My drink is
we're a little bit down.
Was this seriously your guys' first show? Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, I'm impressed, because I tell you, my first show did not go as smoothly.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little bit funny. Well, long story short, I thought I wasn't on air. And I was having a hard time with the broadcasting system. I wasn't using StreamYard at the time. I was just trying to go live on YouTube or whatever. And all of a sudden I look over and I see comments, and they're like, "We can hear you. We can see you, this and that." I had been swearing and I cursed a couple times.
Oh no.
I'm like, I'm supposed to go live in this, and it just wasn't working or whatever. And and then I was so embarrassed, I was swearing on it because I was so frustrated, because I thought I couldn't get on the screen and this and that.
Yeah.
It just, everything seemed to be going wrong. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm on live. So I'm glad it worked out for you all. And
we didn't quite know how to go live, and we saw that you used StreamYard. So I was like, what is that? And I just started Googling it and watching YouTube videos on it. And then we did a couple of I did private shows, like just to see how it would work, so it wouldn't go live. Or but yeah, no, it's a great little platform.
Especially if you're gonna have guests. I mean, if you're not gonna have guests, then just plain old YouTube and the video, that'll work fine. But especially when now I just use it all the time just because it's easy. But yeah.
Plus, you got all the perks with it, with the banners and everything. I mean, you could start streaming things on. I love that. I mean, it's really neat. Yeah.
Well, thanks, and again I feel honored to be your first.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and, thanks for joining us.
Much success in the future, and enjoy your guys' upcoming cruise.
You too as well. Happy Thanksgiving. I mean, we'll see you tomorrow on your show tomorrow night. So
yeah, absolutely.
But we really appreciate having you, and and
here's to a wonderful holiday cruise season.
Oh yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean it's gonna be a terrific time.
Yeah.
So,
thanks everybody. Cheers and happy holidays. Oops.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks everyone else for watching. We appreciate it. Okay, now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope I'm not on here live by myself. All right.